Tax and seizure. Seizure and taxes. They go well together, and we know the story of tax and seizure. Well, I think tax and seizure is going to be a new thing going into 2020, end of 2022 and into 2023, where private sector businesses, private family dwellings and homes will be regulated or mandated to do specific expensive things or risk the loss of losing their private property. Tax and seizure. I just made that up. But what does it mean to me? I want to tell you what it means to me so you could understand. So when it happens, there's a name to go with it, right? So here it is. This is a very good example being brought to us by, who are these guys here? The Urbanized, okay? They talk about real estate development and architecture and all that stuff. Gas stations and pay parking lots in Vancouver must have charging stations or face a $10,000 annual fee. Now, gas stations, I've been telling you, governments have been trying to federalize gas stations, right? And pay parking lots, that's a new one, must have charging stations or face a $10,000 annual fee. Kind of reminds me of Obamacare in a way, where you're forced to take it and pay for it, but your employer puts you down at part-time so they don't have to pay for you, and you lose hours and you go hungry. So that's another story for another time. So gas stations and pay parking lots. So that's how they're going to leverage people. They're going to say, well, you're going to have to put in these $50,000, $60,000 machines at your location or face fees. And that's how governments get into the private sector, right? They could do it to your house. Oh, we don't like the wattage of your house, or we don't like something in your, we have to upgrade all the electrical panels, and all your electrical needs to be upgraded to a higher wattage now, so it's not a fire hazard. So they're going to make that up and force people to do upgrades on their homes that they don't have to. By 2025, gas stations and commercial pay parking lots within Vancouver will be required to have charging stations for electric battery vehicles, or else they will see a substantial higher annual municipal business license fee of $10,000. There it is right there. And it's cities going broke. So let's go here. And that's a video we did 5 days ago. $10 a gallon, cities going broke. They're going to get you at the pump. They're going to find ways. So gas stations will have to raise the price on their potato chips and all that stuff and oil that they sell on the side, because they're going to get you at the pumps. And the taxation, it's tax or seizure. And we made this video 3 years ago. Inflation creeping in, gas prices as high as $1.65 per liter, food set to skyrocket. My opinion, it wouldn't surprise me if gas reaches $2.10 before the end of 2022. Inflation is merging in too fast, and wages haven't been keeping up. They want to federalize our fuel as the, well, let me see what this says here, actually. Let me just go into what this thing actually says here. Let's see what this says. This is from 2019. Spring of 2019. What did I say here? Inflation is merging in too fast and wages are not keeping up. They want to federalize our fuel, and as the world descends into protest, that's when the world was protesting in 2019, the media is flipping it as climate change. Yeah, that's right. Remember, we did a Mike of the Night on that. Several Mike of the Nights on the world protests on climate change that weren't about climate change. They were about people getting fed up. So there's the video from the other day too, if you want to check it out. So, wow. Okay, so this is it, strong-arming. So, to avoid the $10,000 business license fee, each gas station would be required to install at least one DC fast charger, 50 kilowatts, while each parking lot will need to install at least 4 level 2 chargers at 26.6 kilowatts. By complying with this policy, the business license fees for gas stations and pay parking lots with the specified charging equipment will be reduced to $243 and $163 respectively. So there is no end to this. So, but Mike, this is Vancouver. This is going to be all over. You know why? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you a little secret. There's a lot of places that electric cars can't go because there's not a lot of charging stations along the way. So for them to promote the electric car here in Canada, to promote to go green, even though you want to solar panel your house out and go off-grid and go green, they don't want you to do that because they want you hooked up to the public utilities. You see where we're going with this, or where this is headed, right? So now they want to install or put it on the gas stations to install. Well, you'll see it. This is starting in Vancouver. It's going to go to Burnaby, Surrey, all the way to Calgary, where they're going to make it mandatory right across the board, right? So that electric cars may be now an option, because now you got charging stations across the country. So this is becoming an issue. You see, this is becoming a bigger issue where they're going to tax and seizure. Tax and seizure is coming. Tax and seizure will be a thing going into the future. I received 7 notice of assessments in the month of January of this year, because they are coming after small businesses for anything in any way possible to fund, because their coffers are empty. And why? Like I said in the other video, people have left the big cities because they can't afford the property tax. They can't afford to live a basic life anymore. So they left. And now there's no one there. Well, there's tons of empty homes owned by foreign investors. They're just empty. And a lot of them get out of paying taxes. So they don't want to pay taxes and fund the infrastructure. They want the infrastructure, but they don't want to pay for it. A lot of these, 90% of these foreign investors, right? So that's what I think, guys. Tax and seizure. What do you guys think? They could say, oh, I don't like the wattage system or the amperage in your house. You're going to have to go to 300 amps, but we don't need that much power. Yes, you do. It's by law, because a house burned down a meth lab blew up a few doors down from your house, so we're going to have to up the wattages on everybody's system so their house doesn't burn like the meth lab blew up. So that's what's going to happen, and that's what they're going to go forward doing. Tax and seizure. They're going to kill us, and they're going to tax us to death. Many videos on the channel. Search across last couple of years. This is not new news to us, and this is something we've been saying for years. Not because Joe Rogan said 2 weeks ago, because we said it years ago. Mike Martins here. I have spoken.